Hi, my name is Roman Pendes, and I'm going to be talking about the rise of Japanese animation in the West and how it came to be. So, to start with, this presentation is going to go over just sort of like a brief history of Japanese animation and sort of how it's come to be now in the popular state that it is and the growth in popularity. We're also going to talk about how that growth came to be through pirate websites and sort of the controversies that come through that and some of the ethical perspectives of those controversies and sort of like the global consequence that that growth has had through pirate websites. And we're also just going to talk about the current standing of where the industry is and where it seems to be headed. And a good, example of that is this poster here by Haikyuu, which is a movie that is currently airing in theaters right now here in the US, started airing May 31st, and it has already sold over 63 million tickets worldwide. So animation in Japan started back in the 1970s with just silent animated films. And one of the first big films that had impact worldwide was The Thief of the Bogula Castle, which you can see a part of the film here. And this film led to inspire many other artists, one of them being Toei Doga, mainly known for new toy animation. And Toei Doga is responsible for, his studio is responsible for many big animes that we're going to be naming down the presentation. But he also inspired many other artists, like for example, Miyazaki Hayao, who is responsible for Studio Ghibli, who is known to make very popular movies all over the world. One of, if not the biggest one, being Spirited Away, who the main character here is Chihiro. And we're going to try to remember her name because she'll also come back in our presentation. And at this time, most of the films were basically movies. So it wasn't until Tezuka Osamu where anime made this transition from films to the TV series and sort of like the animated shows that is what we consider anime nowadays. And the first animated film or anime was Astro Boy. So then on the 1990s is when anime really starts to become popular, or the anime TV series concept, and it starts to gain some popularity over here in the West as well, mainly with Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball became such a big hit that it paved the way in the 2000s for shows like Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach to be able to be aired on Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, some popular US channels. But honestly, this was really it. During the 2000s era, like after these films came out, there was really no more anime to watch anywhere in any sort of official mean or way. So for people that became anime fans, if they wanted to follow that interest, they really had nowhere else to look to. So they started to look online. And when you look online, you find pirate websites. So pirate websites became probably the biggest, if not the only way to watch anime back in the 2000s and early 2010s. Mainly because of the verses that you see right here. And here we have Kiss Anime, which is one of the most popular pirate websites back in the 2000s. And the biggest, point towards pirate websites had over official streaming sites is that they were free to watch. But then when you look at other details, for example, at official pirated websites had a much bigger selection of anime to watch from. Like you could name it, you could see it. Where in official websites, they had a much shorter selection of shows, and some of the shows that they had were not even completed. On top of that, official websites had a hard time with copyrights. So it was very hard for them to basically keep a show on the page for a long time. And the last but not least is also the quality of the subs. Pirated sites, their sub quality, and when translating from Japanese to English, was much better and much adored by the fans when compared to the official translations. And things seems to basically that like they were going to stay this way for a long time until Crunchyroll came along. Now Crunchyroll is probably the most popular and official streaming website nowadays, with over 30 million paid subscribers to their premium. But they didn't always start like this. Actually, Crunchyroll started as a pirate website themselves, but during 2006 they went through the paperwork to become official, And even then, they didn't really gain popularity because they ran into the same issues that a lot of other websites, official websites, did, of having issues with the copyrights for Japan. But in 2016, they were able to acquire Funimation, another one of their main competitors in the official streaming sites. And that made their selection of anime much bigger, getting them a lot more fans. And no one really knows how they managed to actually crack through the copyrights of Japanese studios, getting a lot of exclusives and a lot of anime deals that only they could get. But that still didn't really lead to any sort of big explosion in popularity. The first big explosion in popularity over here in the West that we really see comes with Netflix and Attack on Titan. So during the pandemic, people basically had nothing else to do but binge watch shows on Netflix. So Netflix had a big boom, and Attack on Titan had the perfect timing for that, because it came out it was coming to its final season, part 1, during December of 2020, basically just prime pandemic. And it ended up topping the charts of Netflix on 2022, on February 2022. As we can see here on this chart, it even beat other popular shows like Stranger Things and The Walking Dead in order to get that number 1. So this was a very big deal for anime, because it was the first time that a show, like an animated show from the East, from Japan, was able to beat shows in the West, here in the West. And then this sort of commotion creates a shift in the tides of the copyrights. So after this, Japanese companies start to basically make more deals with more American companies, and that makes it, due to the popularity of Attack on Titan and the success of Crunchyroll, you can then now start to see more merchandise and just more anime related things at just stores across the US, like Targets, Walmarts, and Old Navy. And even GameStop starts to have more Japanese only exclusive games. So it leads to the popularity in anime has led to a global industry sort of explosion from the East to the West. So anime now has honestly become mainstream here in the West. A good example of that is the crossovers that have happened with one of the most popular games over here being Fortnite. They made multiple crossovers with anime, as you can see here, with Fortnite times Naruto, or Fortnite times Attack on Titan, and popular artists like Billie Eilish, and her newest album released a single called Chihiro, which is, if you remember, the name of the main character from Spirited Away. And we also have another example in Bad Bunny, another very popular artist here in the West, whose song Yonaguni makes a reference to one of the main characters from Naruto called Itachi. Ethical and perspective reflection. So when you really come to think about it, everything started with the fans from the 1990s, and some of them just wanting to find options to where to watch anime, use pirate websites, and broke copyright laws. So when you think about it that way, it makes sense that these people should be penalized for breaking those copyrighted laws. But it also, it's more to it to think about, right? Because yes, those people should be punished, and they have been, which is why nowadays most of those pirate websites that were breaking the copyright laws have been taken down. But in some ways, you could say that it was due to them spreading anime and spreading the love of the fans that the industry has come to be where it is today. So in conclusion, anime has literally come from pirates to riches. It started from pirated websites and now has become one of the biggest booming industries on mainstream. A good example of that is Haikyuu airing in theaters. And this is honestly all thanks to the fans who have supported anime through pirated websites back in the day, and now through official streaming sites like Crunchyroll. And it's also thanks to the shift in the companies from Japan who have seen the popularity of anime over here in the West and have taken that as an opportunity to make it an even bigger explosion. And it looks like, thanks to those shifts, the future of anime is going to be successful in an official manner. And this is my reference list. Thank you guys for listening.